Within this segment, I used Premiere and After Effects, as I felt they resulted best, as I knew how to use them the most. They are programs that are both Adobe products and programs that I am previously accustomed to for both creative control and effects. I used After Effects, but for splicing clips and for compiling video, I used Premiere. Within my 3D segment, I used Blender solely, as it is a free program and I'm very comfortable and accustomed to using it. All animation work I've done through it has been relatively easy and simple. It's quite simple to use keyframes and interpolation, and within these next clips you may see me using a geometry nodes tutorial, as geometry nodes were a aspect of Blender that I was very unfamiliar with prior to this production. I will use geometry nodes throughout my continued usage of Blender, as they are a valuable and important resource to use in Blender. Not only can they result in some interesting effects and distortions, but they can create interesting visual dynamics just based on vertex manipulation. Within these geometry nodes, I created emission shaders to give them a holographic appearance. I then bound the geometry nodes to specific objects to give them realistic instances. To create this sonar ping of sort, I created the instance of the chasm, of the cliff. Then I bound the geometry nodes to it, the same way that I bound them to the stairs. I then simply moved the geometry nodes through the cliff, and it created a sonar-like effect that worked very well and that I'm very pleased with. Within this clip, you may see me creating camera movements and other types of movements for a door scene that I later rendered and edited within After Effects and Premiere. This door scene would be quite integral to the production, as it showed off both my use of geometry nodes and of good camera work. I'm pleased with this door scene, to say the least. The future background of this door scene was never really realized, as I realized that I didn't have much of a use of it, and the shaders for it didn't very much so look great with the current rendering engine that I had used for the rest of the door. This next scene consists of me rendering the shaders for the chasm and also the chasm scene itself, which I'm also very pleased with. The next part is the soundtrack production, in which I create the soundtrack starting all the way back in 2022. Originally, the soundtrack was the only thing I had going for this production, as it was probably the most easy to develop and freeing of creative expression that I'd found of all the mediums to create or start the production. I very much so enjoyed creating the soundtrack, as it was something that I was familiar with before and that I had background with, as I have been brought up with music and production in the past. Some things that I've learned while creating the soundtrack is how to mix properly and what the different sliders do within the mixer. Also, how to control sound and how to use it to my advantage to create atmosphere and ambience. Within the tracks, I have made multiple ambient tracks which I feel reflect both the atmosphere and production of the project the best, as it encapsulates the space and aquatic nature of the video aspect, which I feel blend very well. Within the next few segments, I'm seen using synthesizers that are from one of my favorite packs, which is Flex. Flex is fantastic as it's free, and it's also very easy to use. It comes bundled with a multitude of different dystopian leads and other synthesizers that you can use to your advantage, all bundled for free and very simple to use, easily tuned and easily modified to your advantages.